Hey guys, welcome to another Trade Genius podcast. Bob and Phil here. As always, guys, we've been talking about a blow-off move. Well, we think we got everything lined up for that now. We're going to talk all about it. Let's dive in.
Trade Genius.
So, Bob, I know we were kind of debating back and forth on, when this move is going to happen. Is it going to happen? And then, lo and behold, good old China comes in and says, "Don't worry, we got you."
Yeah, it was interesting because I couldn't figure out where the juice was going to come from, and lo and behold, China put together a massive stimulus campaign, and they doubled down again over the weekend, and it looks like if they just start to ramp up economic activity at all, Phil, it's going to rip the commodity metal prices up, and it's going to rip energy up, and everything responded this morning. Copper's up, gold's up, silver's up, oil's up, and so we have a situation now where it's lined up, and I think we're going to get the everything but the kitchen sink thrown at it. There's another chart I'm going to show you that also is going to provide the lift to the market, but this is the lift that you're going to get ready to short into. But it's pretty incredible right now, Phil. The first chart here is on oil. Here's the combo effect. You got the oil markets that are trading with maximum short on the trader side going into an environment where demand is going to pick up, and those guys are going to get barbecued. And so you want to be pretty exposed to energy right now. And the next chart I want to show is that even though domestic liquidity has been lagging, worldwide or global liquidity has been skying. And there's a delay in the reaction to that, and that reaction time is now. So everything's lining up for an October move, Phil. And Bitcoin's supposed to have a good fourth quarter, but Bitcoin also likes global liquidity. So I think we're going to be in store for us, I would think a commodity move and energy move, to a lesser extent, tech, but it's definitely going to be on the commodity side. But there's plenty of opportunities, and I think Bitcoin gets part of this move too, Phil. Hey everybody, it's Bob with Trade Genius. Usually I do fun ads. I talk about our service, but I want to be serious with you for a second. We've been helping a lot of people trading for a long time. As you can see here, I want to let them do the talking for me for a change. But most importantly, we want to help you too. If you have not joined our service yet, come check us out, tradelikeagenius.com. Full service. We have chat room. We have the algorithms for you. We give trades out every day. We educate you. So go to tradelikeagenius.com. Check us out. What you get out of our service is much more than what you put into it, and we'd like to see you in the room. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, in terms of Bitcoin, 1,000 days after the last cycle peak is usually where you can start dollar cost averaging long for the next wave up. And we hit that mark, I think it was about August 15th or so, somewhere in that area. And, we've been putting in low, we dipped below 50K. I think that was the low. And we've been putting in higher highs and higher lows since then. So we could have another dip here before we get into Friday. Friday's got that core CPE number. Sometimes you'll see a dip into those announcements. But, this week, if we're going to dip, it's going to be this week. This is one of the weakest returns of the year. Seasonally is the last week of September. But then once we get into October, right, and then the Q4, we start ramping up. And you also have that seasonal effect of the move up into the election. So October can be kind of choppy. You have an initial start that's bullish. It can pull back mid-October, and then right the last part of October into that November 4th election, you have that push up. And then, of course, everyone's going to be looking at whether or not we continue to push beyond the election. There's a lot of hedging that goes on. That'll be an extremely volatile event because I think this election is going to be extremely volatile. But once we get past that and the world hasn't ended, then those hedges come off. There's another lift for the market. And then if we continue to grind up, and China continues to follow this path where this white line is the projected liquidity, right? I think it's 10-month or 10-week lead. So if we continue to follow that, Bitcoin's going to absolutely take off as with everything else. But Bitcoin has been lagging. Bitcoin's very sensitive to China stimulus. That's one catalyst that it responds really well to. The dollar strength and weakness is also something else that's really sensitive to. But I think this is going to finally break us out of that channel. In fact, if you look at the liquidity chart here, it almost mimics Bitcoin's chart. You ran up into March. You have a channel that's been going on here for 6 months plus, and now it's projecting to bolt out of here. So Bitcoin really is a representation of global liquidity. I mean, it's that's kind of the nature of the beast. It is a global asset. It's decentralized, et cetera, et cetera. So we should start to see this breakout happen, and kind of goes with the thesis I've had where now I thought maybe we would top out in the markets October, November. Being that the way this has kind of started to play out, I think actually, like I said, if we continue to grind past the election, Bob, I would not be opposed to seeing this actually go up into the inauguration, because historically, when you do have a run like that, the inauguration turns into like the turning point, right? You have the run past the election, and the inauguration is when the basically the move ends and exhausts. And at that point, I think we will see also the economic indicators, unless something drastically changes, continue to move toward that recession trigger, which at that point, I think, you're probably looking at the yield curve at our line of 0.6 yield curve between the 2-year and the 10-year.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, I agree with you, Phil. And I think when this liquidity wave starts racing in, people are just they're gonna squeeze the rest of the shorts out too. My view is if Kamala wins, that ends it right there. If Trump wins, then I could see it through the inauguration. But 2025, I think both our views are pretty set. These moves are gonna be mostly short covering rally, and as we showed you yesterday, it's retail all in. So then you're going to need to start positioning yourself for the short side.
Totally agree. Guys, let us know your thoughts on today's video. Love to hear your comments or read your comments below. And as always, if you need help navigating these markets, this is the finale, guys. This is going to be a really wild quarter. But if you're interested in getting our calls and takes on it, then head over to tradegenius.co. Check out our packages. You can join us in the room. Love to see you in there. Otherwise, we'll see you guys on the next episode. Thanks, Bob. And you guys have a great evening. Take care.
Great. You too, Phil.
Trade Genius.